Hey everybody, I'm going to start this one off, and here's Sarah. Okay.
I'm right here.
So chaotic day, chaotic week around here, as you might have seen our other video, as we were talking about the issues we've had with health insurance and all this kind of thing, and
You're
all of that.
See me on the phone.
She's going to be on the phone a lot because wow, grandbabies are coming. Our son and I can't even talk.
Our son and his girlfriend
Right.
are due with twins. Not until the start of July. So she's 34 weeks, 4 days. They called this morning, asked if we could take them from they live on an island, so asked if we could take them from the ferry to the hospital. And it wasn't them. We picked them up and took them to the hospital, and she is progressing quickly. Our hospital doesn't normally do preemies, but they've decided they're going to do a C-section now and then transfer babies to a bigger hospital. So 34 weeks, 4 days. Babies were like 4 pounds or so last week. So not too tiny, but our hospital doesn't normally take preemies. So they'll be able to stabilize them here and then take them by ambulance to the bigger hospital, which is an hour and a half away. And I don't know how that all works with all the COVID stuff that's going on right now. So I'm going to be watching
We're going to be watching the phone.
the phone.
We're going to be watching our phones. They're going to go ding. We're going to be totally interrupted, and that's totally okay. So,
so if we're scatterbrained today, that's what's going on.
So I don't know. Did you mention your mom?
Oh no, my mom is an OR nurse, and so she is headed to the OR right now. The OR nurse. Like on the weekends, our local hospital only has one. So I wrote to mom and said, "You're going to get called," and she said, "Not yet." And then a minute later, she called back, "Oh, I'm on my way." So we will see.
So we're a small rural hospital. There are 4 operating rooms here. There are only 3 labor and delivery rooms. So it's a pretty small community hospital. And this is where I used to work, in the operating room. Sarah's mom has worked in the OR there for quite a few years now.
And they are great. That's where we've delivered most of our babies.
Yeah. We were just talking to one of our
nurses.
OB nurses. I'm really excited. And so anyway, so we just talked to one of our nurses from labor and delivery last night, and we're just talking through some things and asking questions, and so excited. And she hopefully is on here as well, and praying for our son and his girlfriend and the babies. And it's just interesting to see this from the other perspective. I've been in the OR when a lot of babies have been born. We'll just say I've been in and see an awful lot of people in an awful lot of situations, and it's different when you see your own child go through it. And we've never had grandbabies before, and we've been expecting our grandbabies now for months that we've known.
We found out about the time he was born that we had grandbabies on the way. So.
Yeah. So now they're really on the way. They're coming soon. As far as we know, a boy and a girl, and they seem pretty healthy at last appointment. So we don't know what's going on beyond that.
Those ultrasounds are usually right, but
Yeah, the ultrasounds are usually right, but when there's 2 babies in there, sometimes you miss stuff. And one of our friends, the contacts that we have through Facebook and other ministry, their family just had twins that were born very early, and they're dealing with all of that with the NICU and mom's recovery and babies and all that. And we don't know what God has in store for these babies, or for mom, or for us. But we hope that God will give us wisdom and strength to know what to do, how to help. We're thankful that God has blessed us with the opportunity to help and to be an encouragement to them. And we don't know what's in store, but we're just so excited. So
this little guy's excited too. I think it's about the fan on the
I think he's excited. So yesterday we had no idea that this was going to happen, but we were saying last night before we go to bed, what are we going to talk about on tomorrow's live stream? And, and Sarah was talking to this nurse, and we're thinking, the next couple of weeks we'll have to do. Hey, you know what? Now is the time. So thank you, Joe and Renee. Appreciate your prayers. And we've sent this out on Facebook now. We had been keeping it fairly quiet. Lila, hey, we got grandbabies coming like any minute now. They're getting delivered.
Well, hopefully not any minute, because the OR staff needs a little time to prep. But
they can do a stat C-section very, very quickly, but nothing is emergent at this point. It's just, okay, this is the way things need to go because of different
They won't be able to get her to the bigger hospital before babies come with how quickly she's progressing, but they need to do a C-section because of baby's position. So babies seem to be doing okay with labor. I didn't hear anything to say otherwise.
Right. So we're a 2-hour drive away from the larger hospital, but it's also in the biggest city in our state. So Portland is about 2 hours away from us, driving, if you drive sanely.
The ambulance can
So,
get there faster.
so the ambulance can get there faster. I'd say an hour and a half. The ambulance could get from point A to point B if they needed to. Hey, Christina's on too.
Hi, Christina.
Hi, Christina. Hey, our grandbabies are being born probably in the next hour or two. And I'm just going to keep saying that every time somebody pops on because I'm so excited. So we've been praying about this and just praying to see. We never know what God has in store for the future, but we walk through it step by step. And so you're going to walk through this with us, it seems.
Yeah.
So Sarah is over here distracted grandma on the phone. And funny enough, Sarah's mom is going to be in the OR delivering, like helping with delivery. She's a nurse, not a surgeon.
One of their nurses is Cecily.
Yes.
I don't know the other one, but
We know all the nurses at the local
well, we
hospital.
know most of them. They have
Almost
Maddie.
all.
I don't know Maddie.
Okay, they got some new people, but anyhow, people that we've had so many babies at this hospital that they all know who we are. They know all our children's names. They're used to what we like to eat. I mean, it's weird how much they know us.
I told Nathaniel, I told our son that he needed to say who we were because the nurses aren't allowed to say, oh, do you belong to so-and-so?
Right.
But he's allowed to say, hey, my mom's this person, and then they can talk about us. I just know how that works. Oh, and Dawn. We've got Dawn too.
And she loved my post.
Oh, she's on her phone. Our
She's
little
on
Eliza.
her phone, yes. She's on her phone, even though she's having babies. So, hey, guess what? You get to be the first Herding Little Cows baby delivery announcement. And I'm expecting pictures.
Hold on. So they have Dawn as one of their nurses. Dawn
Yes.
delivered Malachi.
Yes.
Well, not delivered.
she was there.
She was there.
But
She's
Dawn
been there to
is
deliver a few of them. And Dawn is super awesome nurse. And Cecily is also a super awesome nurse. So that is so cool. And we are so excited. And we do have baby names, but we're not going to tell you. We're going to let Mom and Dad reveal those
And
names.
I'll let them reveal pictures, or at
Yes.
least tell me it's okay to reveal pictures, because I said I want pictures, but I'm not going to reveal them until they tell me it's okay.
So we need to tell Nathaniel and Eliza that what we should do is actually live feed from the operating room.
Well, she's probably not on our live stream.
Because there's no video allowed.
They're probably not going to let us do that. That's okay. Hey, Hopkins got the live stream. Hey, we're having grandbabies. Like, now.
This
It's
is
so
going to be the
exciting.
whole live stream. People are going to come on and they're just going to hear over and over, we're having grandbabies, we're having grandbabies.
Babies.
So,
I've never been so excited.
they
In a
seem
long
to be
time.
doing well. I don't know how Nathaniel and Eliza are doing right now, but I got a great picture of Nathaniel in scrubs with his hat on and his mask on. Well,
Yeah,
actually, he didn't have his hat on yet. He needs to put his hat on. He wasn't in the OB yet. I mean, in the
They are.
OR yet.
It was just on the regular.
It's really nice that we have this. So I wonder how many great grandmothers get to be in there when the babies are. That's pretty cool.
I don't know.
And she hasn't. Your mom hasn't had a birthday yet.
No.
Grandma hasn't turned 60 yet, and she got great grandbabies coming. That's awesome. Because children are a blessing from the Lord. So in case you missed that, in any of our previous videos, that's what we really believe around here. Children are a blessing from the Lord. So we are so excited.
So these are our first biological grandbabies. Nathaniel's girlfriend Eliza has two other babies also that we've seen pictures of, but just timing wise, when they've been here,
Hasn't worked out.
it's never worked out for us to meet those other two. They live on an island. It's hard to get transportation back and forth, and then we were in Florida and all that good stuff. But there are two other babies, two other kids also.
So there's multiple islands off the coast of Maine that are inhabited. Vinyl Haven's about 600 people year round that live out there.
Yeah,
in
they've
summer.
got a grocery store and a library.
They actually have a medical center there and all kinds of cool stuff.
Not ready to
But it is a little over an hour by boat. So when they called this morning and said, "Hey, we're going to need a ride from the boat," I was expecting like freaking out. That's what I was, because I freak out. So anyway, so I'm all full of adrenaline, which means I'm probably going to have a big crash at some point today. But hopefully, it won't be for a while. Any new news?
No.
We're not expecting any new news, so probably half an hour to 45 minutes. So we'll see how long the stream goes before we have to shut it down. But it has been a crazy week anyway. Otherwise, he's loud. You're
Yes.
loud. He's over here laughing. Malachi is laughing his little head off. He thinks he's funny. Where is he? Hello, little funny person. Okay, so what were we going to talk about besides this?
I don't know.
Did we have anything to talk about?
I don't know. I'm telling Nathaniel that we just keep announcing the babies.
Yes, I'm just going to say babies, babies, babies. Anyway, so I'll just tell everybody. So this week we have it's been a very trying week. So this is a great blessing to have at the end of the
Hold
week.
on. What happened right before this all started?
Yeah.
The baby, I was putting him up to nurse, and he flailed his arms and against my glasses.
He snapped this off, and I kind of taped it back. But again, by God's grace,
I had
Zenny Optical, they're not paying us anything either, but they probably should. Zenny Optical, we've given you a lot of free business over the years. $15 for a pair of glasses.
No, not even that. These glasses that I'm putting on right now, $6.95. I just ordered 2 pairs plus shipping to my house for like $18.
That's awesome.
So definitely. So nothing new going on yet.
Okay, nothing new. All right, so anyway, what are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
Let's not talk about babies right now.
Okay, so that's really hard to do. So anyway, this baby, not other babies, this
He's
baby
very
broke my glasses, but we had extra glasses. And so I was trying to get on to Zenny Optical to order some new glasses so that I wouldn't, so I'd have them when I need them, because my eyes, my right eye is fairly good. I think I mentioned this on another live stream. My left eye, there's a computer in front of me, I think. That's about as good as it gets. So when I have to get out the last new pair, I order more because we'd be kind of stuck if mommy didn't have glasses and wasn't able to drive. So
Yeah, that would not be cool at all, actually.
thank you, Christina, for the prayers from the church down there. So
So what else did we do this week?
this week we've been dealing with the new normal for us of trying to watch Josiah and his seizures. He has been having some more, but not the grand malls, just the tightening ones. He knows they're coming and he comes to us for help, which is sometimes worse because he shouldn't really walk when they happen. You're getting random pictures. He shouldn't really walk when they happen because he starts to get stiff halfway across the room. But he recognizes they're coming, which is a huge step to be able to teach him how to get himself safe. So trying to make sure we're getting his medicine into him every day, which is nice because it's a capsule we can open up and put on food. So that's working well. And just trying to watch our sleeping arrangements and all of that stuff to make sure that we can keep him safe.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's from the medication or what, or if it's just because we're watching him more closely at night now, but he sleeps, he moves around a lot in his sleep, and we keep finding him on his brother's bed. How his bed is, his bed goes this way, and his brother's bed goes this way against one wall and the other wall, and we keep finding him on the foot of his brother's bed.
And because of Josiah's CP and his contractures on his left side, his foot has to be stretched at night and then held up in a position with a special support brace that we have. So he had the whole blanket wrapped up around his foot last night when I went and found him at about 11:30, which is a good place to have something wrapped around, not around like anything else. But so we've decided that we don't sleep very well anymore. So we're constantly checking in on somebody, checking in on, we heard a noise from the other room, or we need to go check on Josiah. So we haven't slept terribly well. It's not that we're trying to stay up, it's that sleep is very difficult to get. And I don't do well waking up and then going back to sleep. So
He doesn't do well on waking up.
I don't do well on waking up
Then-
either. So yeah. So Josiah getting adjusted to the new normal, but we do have some things coming for Josiah. We have a brand new car seat that is coming for him that will help hold him up more upright in his seat. He tends to fall asleep.
He's been in a certain booster seat. Every state has different laws for car seats. So he is currently in a car seat that is okay for him, for his size and everything. But because he has trouble, he's getting more tired more easily. And so he's tending to fall asleep in the car that he didn't used to do. So we're getting a seat that if he fell asleep, he'd have more support and be in a correct position. So it's not that he was unsafe before. We're just trying to make it so that he is the safest possible for his condition.
So then something else that isn't a safety issue, but definitely, I don't know, related to it. So we're also getting him a swing. Josiah likes to swing, and it's good for his brain. The vestibular therapy is very good for him to be in a swing, but he can only hang on with one hand, and then if he has a seizure, he wouldn't be able to hang on. So he doesn't swing much right now. We've kind of avoided that for a while. But we're going to be, I think, when's it coming?
Tuesday.
I think we have a
Wednesday?
swing coming Tuesday or Wednesday.
Bye.
So we have a swing coming for him that will kind of envelop him. It's a therapy swing specifically made for kids with.
Well, actually, no, the one we got is not. We looked at a therapy swing,
Oh, that's
specifically
right.
for kids, but we got one. It's more of a hammock, so it's got like a pad on the bottom, and then like canvasy sides and a back, so you kind of sit back in it and can swing, but he won't be able to fall out even if he were to have a seizure in the swing. So we're excited about that. Another thing that happened this week is started physical therapy via computer for 2 of the boys. Josiah needs physical therapy for the CP, being able to keep those muscles stretched and being able to.
There's nothing in this but air.
He likes to chew on
He
it.
just likes to chew on it. He's got a tooth popping through. First tooth popping through too. Very busy week.
So we started the physical therapy this week. We had done evaluations a couple weeks ago, but this was our first week and we'll be doing it every week now. Josiah needs to strengthen some muscles for his CP. So she was able to give us some good things for that. And then Samuel, we're not exactly sure all of what's going on with him. We might have to look for more diagnosis, but it might be with involving some of the stuff that Mark has. It could be secondary symptoms of something associated with Mark's. So we're looking into that. But he has very loose ligaments, except for really tight hamstrings, and it makes certain activities for him really difficult. And he's got some loose muscles in his hips and his knees. And so because of a knee injury, they set us up for physical therapy, but I think it's going to work really well for him to strengthen certain parts of his body. Sorry for the loud baby today, guys.
Yeah, you're loud.
He's like, me?
I'm a loud baby.
I'll talk to the camera. So that was really good to get those. We're trying to figure out a good time every day to put the therapies in to make sure everyone's doing them. So last night I actually got down on the floor and did the therapies with the 10-year-old on down as much as they were able. You know, the 2-year-old trying to do some of the exercises was kind of funny. But the therapist we have is very, very good. It's the one that we had already dealt with Josiah. And we will be doing occupational therapy through them also. So, what else? So we had that this week. So that'll be every week now.
So therapies, new stuff for Josiah, trying to get some sleep, new car seats.
We got to visit with the newlyweds that we've talked about on our other videos. They came over the other day. Actually, the wife came over for a few hours during the day, and then her husband came, and due to she has some jaw pain stuff going on, so we ended up having a quick evening to visit, but it was good to be able to see them. And the other thing that made this week so crazy and chaotic, so in Maine, you can't plant your garden until Memorial Day or after because of risk of freeze. So Virginia is gardening.
Right. We had snow on May 9th, and we had a frost, I think, just last week. It's ridiculous here. So generally people don't plant here till Memorial Day. So Virginia we had the garden tilled up, and Virginia's been out there furiously digging in dirt clods and all that kind of
stuff. So the kids have been helping, but it's definitely Virginia's project. So Monday through Thursday, she was in the garden every day. No glasses. No. You just can't touch the glasses. Virginia has been in the garden every day, Monday through Thursday. Hi. And I took school off this week. We did a couple school activities, but we didn't do regular school days because we were spending the time organizing the house.
She's been on a rampage. This woman has bleached and cleaned and scrubbed and
let's just say I don't think I'm pregnant because I took a test, but I'm going between. I definitely have hormonal stuff going on because I'm going between everybody get out of my way. I am cleaning this house like crazy, and I don't want to get off the bed. I'm too tired. So.
Yes, Amanda, we did definitely get the heat wave. We had upper 70s, almost into 80s, which for Maine, that only happens about 5 times a year. So yeah, we had some definitely warm weather. Even today, it's still pretty warm out, even though it's very foggy this morning. The sun's just coming out now.
Actually, hold this. I'm going to open that window because it's a little warmish. I was just thinking that, Amanda. Good segue to open the window.
It's toasty, but we don't want to we don't want to turn a fan on because it will mess up the speaker.
If you hear some birdies, though.
Yeah, if you hear birdies, it's just birdies. Hi, how are you?
My mom realized today that there's a bird that likes to be outside her window that sounds the same as her phone messages.
Yes.
So she thought her phone messages were going off at 5 a.m., which they weren't.
So someone is asking about our Master Books affiliate link on our Facebook page. Yes, anything you buy through Master Books, it doesn't matter if it's PDFs, it doesn't matter if it's audiobooks, it doesn't matter what brand it is, if it's produced by Master Books.
If you buy it off the Master Books site.
Right. If you buy it from the Master Books site through our link, then we will get a credit for that. Yes. Thank you for that. I know somebody else on here already did that for us, so we appreciate that.
So for any of the people on here who do Master Books, on Tuesdays, they have a Master Books flash sale. You have to be on the Master Books email to be able to get these flash sale things. Right. Well, you can get the flash sales without being on the email. But if you get the emails and you go through the emails, you can get some of the PDFs for as low as 99 cents, where the PDFs on the regular website, if you just go through the regular website, are like $1.99 or $2.99. So it's a great way to save on some things. So that
I'll be
is
back. Hold on.
Mark's doing somersaults. So that is a great way. We get an email every Tuesday morning at 11 when the sales start, and I get the PDFs for 99 cents through that, and you can use your points on those 99 cents. So a lot of times I don't even actually spend money on the 99 cents because I have enough points. Also for master books, if you buy master books and you write reviews for them, you get points that you can spend. It's only up to a certain amount, but it's a lot, so that's good. And if you're they have a master books app that you can get for your smartphone. And if you do that, they have different things where you can earn, like not earn points, but win points. They'll have they have no frowny face Friday or something like that. And if your picture gets picked for the week, you get points. Oh, I threw the baby on the floor. Hold on. Big sis came to get him. Hey, baby. There we go, big sis. Okay, I'm gonna come over here. My phone's still right there, but one of our chargers broke, and so you gotta have to kind of set it just right.
It didn't broke. It just bended it.
Bended it.
It bended it.
So if you are on the Master Books app, there's other chances to get points too. But I know that when there's a flash sale, there's only so many products available, but the PDFs, I've never had a problem getting. So I don't know if they have a limited number on those, or I'm just quick to the draw because on Tuesday mornings I look around to see what's available. But we found that they're very good to be able to put on the Kindles for the kids to use.
Definitely.
They usually, on the flash sales, they don't usually have much curriculum. They have more of the, dinosaur resource books or the human body resource books, the types of things you'd add to a curriculum, but not the full curriculum.
Right. But we've enjoyed some of the big book of animals and some.
Yeah, we have some. I mean, we have a lot of their printed books too.
Right.
We actually bought a lot of their printed books before we knew about Master Books. We bought them through Answers in Genesis, and I think some through ICR.
I think for ICR, Dr. Lyle's page.
But anyway, Master Books is great. If you have other questions on them, feel free to ask either on here or message me. So, what else about those books? Still looking for.
I don't know, but we also have. Did you talk about the trip?
Oh no. Okay.
Mom asked if we're still coming. I was like, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, right now we're planning a trip for Monday through Wednesday, and I think that's probably still planned because with the coronavirus going around, I can't make it to the hospital.
Right. Especially if babies get transferred 2 hours south. That's the opposite direction of where we need to go, and we can't go in.
That hospital is where most of the coronavirus cases are for our state. So it's probably even stricter stipulations than we have here at our local hospital.
Right.
So I don't know what that's going to mean for them, but it means that we probably can't do anything.
Right. So our game plan currently is to leave Monday, late morning, and we're going to drive about 2.5 hours up the coast to Cherryfield, Maine, which is known for not cherries. Actually, it's blueberries because this is Maine. We're like that. We don't grow cherries in Maine. Yeah. So Cherryfield is the home of blueberries in Maine because we're weird. But we're going to go up to Cherryfield and see one of my old friends that I haven't seen since 6th grade, who also has, his wife has been a great help to us in helping understand my condition because she has the same basic condition. Hers has different problems associated with it.
Yes.
But we get to finally go meet her in person. We've been talking over the internet for a long time. We get to finally meet them in person. That's the game plan for Monday afternoon.
Right. Yes. And they have a daughter who's 13. No,
she's 15.
15. Sorry. She is pen pals with our 13-year-old.
Right.
And it's been really helpful because she helps her mom when her mom has the dystonic storms. And Naomi helps us when Mark's having dystonic storms. So one of those things that they have a mutual interest in, well, maybe not a mutual interest. They have to do the same things for their family. And that helps, is a good talking point for them. And they're excited to be able to actually meet each other in person because they've been pen pals now for a while.
So we're very excited to see them and actually get to talk in person. It's a lot easier than over the internet anyway, and actually get to see people and walk around and see. They had baby goats this last week too. So hopefully, I think the kids will be all excited about seeing baby goats. And then, so that's Monday. And then in that evening, we'll drive about a half an hour from our friend's house to my mom's house, which is where our camper is currently.
That's where we were last weekend, and we got home right before the live stream.
Right.
Or we left our camper up.
So back to Sorrento. We're going to go back down there Monday. The game plan is Monday evening through Wednesday morning. Again, all of this is tentative. Everything can change depending on different needs. But we'll see. That's the game plan right now, is to go see our friends and then go visit with my mom, who is still working through the loss of her friend, and to see my dad and my stepmom, and just hopefully
See
be
beautiful stuff up
a
there. I
blessing
don't know
to
if
them.
you got to see the video Mark put together,
Hmm.
but it's just really pretty up near where Mark's mom lives.
actually in the middle of that beautiful video with all the scenery of the kids walking on and the shells and the seacoast and the mountains of Acadia and all that wonderful stuff. There's this lady going into Home Depot because she needed something and she wasn't sure whether she needed to wear a mask or not. So that was kind of comical. So I threw a little fun into the video along with the scenery.
But we just found out that our governor has decided that as of June 5th, every store has to have posted that it is mandatory to wear a mask to enter the store, and the stores are allowed to not allow you in if you don't have a mask on, which I totally agree that a store should be allowed to make those decisions, but it will be posted everywhere. So people who don't know that, live in the state of Maine, it's going to say mandatory.
Mhm.
Masks.
So yeah, life is
So
still
we
a
don't
little
all
weird.
go in anywhere because I'm not putting masks on the kids for multiple reasons.
No.
So usually just one of us.
Right.
Maybe Virginia.
Maybe. We'll see. So that's kind of our game plan for the coming week. We have
I'm just peeking. Just
We're just
peeking at the phone.
no pictures, no announcements. When there's stuff, we'll tell people. So yeah, so we had kind of a busy week, and we've got some stuff going on, and we have grandbabies coming. I don't know if I can tell anybody. There's grandbabies that are about to be born, and we're so excited. But anyway, what else have we done? I'm bouncy today.
He wasn't bouncy, and then we got the call of, can you take us to the hospital? And then we all kind of assumed it was going to not.
Yeah,
a
we're
big
kind
thing.
of slow progress, that kind of thing. It has not.
Has not been slow. So
Hey,
she's
they got
efficient.
babies do anything too. Baby
Go
goats,
babies.
baby goats, baby kids. Yeah, we have
Yay.
children, not kids, right?
Yes, because some people get confused.
We have cows, not goats.
We are not allowed to have livestock here.
No.
So we were joking the other day, though, Josiah with his seizures, we were joking about therapy animals. And I was saying he should get a therapy cow. Then we could milk it, and it could let us know when he has seizures.
I was thinking therapy chicken because chickens are therapeutic. If you've ever been around, I love having chickens. I had chickens when I was a kid. We raised chickens in our house 10 years ago before we
Not in the house.
went on the road. No,
I mean, babies in the house. but
we
then
even
went outside.
ate the chickens we raised, and we ate eggs on the layers, and we ate the meat birds. But anyway, I just like chickens. They're just a very calming animal.
I don't know if you saw, I happened to see it because someone posted it to a friend, but it was a video or pictures of this guy who did an around the world sailboat thing
Okay.
by himself with this chicken. Like, it's just pictures of him and his chicken on the boat sailing around the world.
Anyway,
So,
the other not livestock but wild animal thing that happened here this week.
yeah.
That was
So
pretty cool.
we've had wild cats in our yard. We don't know who they belong to, if they actually have a home or whatever. We don't feed them. We see them around.
Right.
And we thought, Mark looked out the window and thought he saw one with a mouse the other day, which we have a lot of land and it wouldn't be surprising to have a mouse. But the girls were outside with some of the kids, and this friend was here, the newlywed, and they realized that the cat had dropped whatever was in the mouth. They went over, and it was a chipmunk, and they actually had a chance to see the chipmunk, like right up close, and then it ran away.
I think she petted the chipmunk. Somebody got a finger on it. Yeah.
Then it ran away.
Here's the little guy.
He wasn't very happy.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh,
Bye.
he's needed.
All right, she's staying. I'm leaving.
Is everyone okay? Okay.
All right, everybody's good.
We don't know. We don't know what promise. Okay, I'm just checking my phone. Still good. Don't see anything. He hasn't been on for a little bit, so hopefully that's good. I'm just gonna write. Minnie. News. How is she? Okay. Why know what's going on? Oh, it didn't send. Send. Okay. Really want to know what's going on. Very excited, but I know when I'm in labor, I don't have a chance to write to everybody. But hopefully we'll know soon. So, what was I saying? So yeah, they saw the chipmunk thing. Chipmunk ran off. It was okay. Didn't see any blood or anything. They were going to check to see if they needed help it, but it was okay. And what else happened? So
I don't know. What are we talking about? Where were we?
I was talking about the chipmunk. So yeah, it's been a little crazy week. I went and got my Walmart order the other day. They were very slow. I'm not sure why. Walmart has been great and has been quick. It just seemed like maybe they were missing people or something because there were bunches of people there waiting, and it seemed like everyone was waiting a long time. But it could have just been their thing. Normally, it's been very good, and that's where I'll be doing most of my food pickups. What else?
I have no idea.
You. No, I'm looking at you.
Oh,
What else?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Sorry, our brains are in a different place right now. It's okay.
It's okay.
So
We're all about raw and real around here. You get the real poop here. This is us.
So Virginia is making some muffins, and I've got some chicken going in the crock pot so we can take our son some meals if he needs them. Girlfriend Eliza should be getting meals through the hospital as she is the patient, but instead of him having to spend money there, we can take him some food. So we've got that going on right now. We got up and we did Bible this morning. Our Bible was a little different. So I think we've mentioned on here before, but what we've been doing recently is our morning Bible. Like at the table, we read most mornings a chapter from the Old Testament. Our church is going through 5 chapters a week. So it would be Monday through Friday, going through the Old Testament.
Right. We're a little ways ahead.
A little
we're
bit
in
ahead.
Deuteronomy. Yeah. I think they're somewhere early in Numbers, and we're in Deuteronomy.
Yeah. So we have been reading it at the breakfast table. We found that because a lot of it is repeats of things, and all of it is good and profitable. Don't hear me say that it's not, but it's hard for the kids to understand because a lot of the things are different than what we do today. We do not go to the tabernacle. So when they say 3 times how they're making the tabernacle, we point out the significance of the colors and the significance of the gold and those types of things. But there's only so much we can explain out when it's not something that impacts their daily life.
We don't want to just skip over it. We definitely want to get through the entirety of the Bible. But some things are easier to meditate on with children. So we've also moved over.
Well, I was also going to say, there's a lot in the Old Testament, though, that speaks of the holiness of God.
Absolutely.
And that's something we're really focusing on recently is how holy God is and how unholy we are. And we very easily, as people, can compare ourselves to others. And it's great when the church preaches, you are a sinner. But then when they say, and all have fallen short of the glory of God, it's easy to say, well, we all do it. We all make mistakes.
Right. We're all in the same boat, so it doesn't not so much of a call to action. We as people tend to be lazy, and we tend to be thinking about ourselves and our own preservation. So,
but when you really focus on God's holiness, you see how much you miss that standard. And so that's been really good, but it's been really good to do. We did it for quite a while as our Bible study for the day, but it's been really good to do it as our morning time at the table. The kids might hear something out of it. Uriah's answer is usually the people of Israel. That's what he heard. He's 2. And if it said the people of Israel, that's probably his answer. Or whatever the last verse talked about, because he kind of, daydreams during it. And then whatever that last verse is.
But then later on, we've been going through the Gospel of John during the week. We're going through the Gospel of John, but we've also had a lot of discussions here in our home lately as to what is church. It's been 3 months since a lot of churches have met. They haven't had communion. They haven't had any baptisms. They haven't just met together and had fellowship. A lot of people aren't inviting people into their homes. There's a lot going on because of the coronavirus and just kind of chaos there. So it's given us a good time to examine those things. So we spent a lot of time in 1 Corinthians chapters 10 through 14, trying to discern. God has a pattern for the church, and it said, as we were reading this morning, 1 Corinthians 12, that it is God has determined the different parts of the body and how they're going to work together, and how Christ is the head of his church, and how the purpose that we gather together for church is to worship and glorify him and to build up his body. That's our brothers and sisters, as we exercise various spiritual gifts, as we remind one another of the scriptures, of the truth of who Jesus is, and as we break bread together and remember Christ in his death, his body broken for us, his blood poured out for us. And as we do those things to remember him, that's part of what church is, but that's not all of it either. There's more to it. There's caring for the widows and for the fatherless, and there's giving counsel to people and encouraging parents as they're training their children. And there's so much that's to it. So as we're digging through, we're looking at various epistles, the pastoral epistles. Well, we spent a lot of time in First Corinthians because Corinth was definitely a church that had a lot of problems. They had spiritual gifts, but they were abusing them. They had the right form in some ways, but they were also doing things that dishonored God. And so we don't want to be one that have dishonored God. We want to be ones that honor the Lord with everything we do and say. And that applies in our home, in our marriage, in our parenting, and in church. So that's part of what we've been studying. So we did that this morning. We talked for probably an hour and a half or so. And then we started getting texts that we were going to have a change of plans. And then absolute chaos is broken off. But that's okay. We're good. We're happy. So that's been our Bible study lately. I guess I don't want to say much more about some parts. Some things just need to be talked about in person, and they're not best for YouTube.
Yeah, it's hard because we don't want to be misunderstood
Right.
in things that we say. And I will say, because I've said this on maybe a Facebook post or something, I think that a lot of people are very comfortable with church being a spectator sport. We're very comfortable that now we get to stay home and watch online, and we realize that
drink your coffee, sit in your pajamas.
Right. And I think we all miss seeing people, but the fact that we can think church is us sitting there listening to people perform in front of us, even if we're singing and stuff, but the fact that we're not bringing something. I don't know how many weeks I've gone and not specifically been thinking of how can I minister to somebody this week? What verses has God given me for somebody? What spiritual encouragement can I be? Just go, and the conversations turn to the weather or to sports or to kids. All of those things are because of God, and like not sports, but like weather and kids.
Ungodly sports people.
No, but like sports and kids. The reason we raise our kids and the reason that we homeschool and do those things is because of God and how He's shown us to do these things in His Word. But if what I'm bringing to church is, the kids this week, I just can't believe it, they didn't let me sleep, that's not edifying to anybody, and that's not glorifying God, which is what we're there for. So if I don't intentionally go to church with a way to build others up, it's very easy to just sit there and listen to everybody else and try to see what I can get out of it rather than what I can give.
And then there's the other end of it. Yeah, I think you definitely handled that well. But the other end of it, that, and I'm again,
no
you
filter.
Open and honest, I don't have a filter. There's nothing filtering between my head and my mouth. It all just comes out. There's also the tendency that if we don't see things going exactly right the way we would like to see them, that we become critical, and that we're, instead of seeing the good that we can get, we're saying, yeah, but I didn't do this. It's like, hey, Mom and Dad, you took me out for ice cream, but I didn't get a cherry on top. That's not always the case, and there are frustrations about all kinds of things. And that's part of, when we look in family life, we say, well, that's part of the beauty of it, is that Sarah is different than me. She thinks differently than I do. She brings different gifts and talents and things to the table that I don't have, and that we work together to complete one another. And as we train our children, all of our children have different gifts, different struggles, different abilities, different disabilities. And working together to see how God's working through all of that. And do we look at the church the same way? Do we say that every member has something? Sorry,
we're checking. We're just checking to make sure there's no grandbabies. Nothing yet.
To see what we're bringing to things. To say, I know what my spiritual gifts are. Am I bringing those to encourage other people, to build them up? Or am I using some knowledge that I have to just think negatively about them and tear them down? If I really love my brother, I'm not going to just say, oh, did you see what he did? Walk away. I'm going to come to him in love and in grace and try to encourage him from the scriptures. And you know what? When we start digging through the scripture together, every single time, I would say, I learn something else that I need to do. It's that log in your own eye and the speck in your brother's eye. Jesus didn't say, don't take the speck out of your brother's eye. He said, first, get the plank out of your own eye, and then you'll see clearly that it's a speck in your brother's eye, and to take that out and to help him, to encourage him, and admonish him in love. But that's something that doesn't come naturally.
And we should want to get the speck out of our eye. Yeah. We were discussing earlier about having a clean heart, like coming and actually ever repented of your sins and
Right.
going a different path. And Mark was saying, if somebody came to your house and they were coming for dinner and their tire blew on the way there, so they came and they were like, well, I can't eat dinner because my hands are dirty. You'd say, okay, well, you recognize your hands are dirty, go wash them in the sink, and then you can come join us for dinner. And how many times are we okay holding on to that thing, whatever it is, that sin in our life, that sin that besets us, because it's different for everybody. But how often do we recognize there's a problem and we either say, oh, well, I'm not going to go to church, or I'm not going to take communion, or whatever it is, because I'm dealing with this sin, instead of going to God and saying, God, show me how bad this sin is in your eyes, so that I can relate to that and I can change my thinking on it. Because we definitely have a very limited view on what sin is. We don't make it the big deal that God does. And I don't know, everybody has sin. I'm not trying to say one sin is worse than the other, but if you're willing to come to church and all of that, and not be willing to repent of that sin, you're just standing there with your hands dirty saying, okay, I don't want to eat today because I'm not willing to wash my hands. I'm not willing to change what I'm doing. I'm just going to stand here with my dirty hands, even though God has offered us a better way. God has offered that forgiveness through Jesus' death on the cross in place of our death. And we want to stand there and say, but my hands are dirty. And God's like, yes, but there's a feast here laid before you. And you say, but that's okay. My dirty hands are more important to me.
Well, Debbie Downer over here ruined it.
I didn't ruin anything.
That's okay.
Okay. No, nothing there.
Nothing
I'm
there.
just knocking things off.
She's just throwing the phone around. It's okay, everybody. It'll be good. Hey, the sun's out
I know.
a little more.
No, I'm really.
I turned the shade a bit so we could hear. You can come over here a little more.
I've got this big line here.
Well, it could be worse.
Let's just do this.
You could have an actual line.
I don't have a line.
She doesn't have an actual line.
The other day we were laying here in bed and the baby was laying next to us, and because of where the slats were on the thing, you could see the moonlight in
Slits
little
on it.
slits on his face. It was very cute. So, sorry, I got all downer there, but I didn't actually get all downer because I was saying how great of a feast God has for us.
Oh, yeah.
We just need to understand who He is and what our lives look like in comparison to His. Not, I wasn't saying, look, there's that feast you can't enjoy.
Right. Yeah.
But God has to open our eyes to what that sin looks like.
Mhm.
We can't do that ourselves.
Definitely.
So, anyway, that was good. Other stuff. The world's a crazy place right now. Don't want to get too much into that, but we are praying.
You're supposed to be talking about.
I'm sorry. I'm so excited. I'm just I can't focus. So the world is a crazy place right now. I don't want to get into the craziness of the world, but we are praying for friends who are living in the bigger cities. We know some friends that are closer to some of the rioting and things that are happening, and we're praying for safety for you guys. We're praying for safety for the police officers that are out there, as we know that they have a really hard job right now because of one police officer doing something, maybe more than one police officer doing something, but it doesn't show all police officers as bad because, if the cook at the restaurant burns your food, it doesn't mean that everybody that works in the restaurant is an awful person.
Right. And stealing things from Target isn't helping anything.
No.
Or burning down whatever.
We read it. If you are friends with us on Facebook, we both posted a thing today by a friend of ours, Olatunde. He is a Black man, and he also is in law enforcement. So it was just an interesting perspective of
Actually,
someone.
he's not in law enforcement anymore.
Well, he was in law enforcement.
It's a beautiful thing. He's actually a dear brother that I haven't seen in far too many years. But he used to, when we knew him, when we lived down in Key West, he worked as a jail guard at the local county jail. And that was interesting and difficult in a lot of interesting and difficult ways, unique ways. But I saw that he's become a biblical family counselor. So that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Because he's always giving good advice. He's a very calm, peacemaking, peace-loving man, and a family man. So that's awesome to see that he's been able to get away from kind of the prison guard stuff. So I need to get back in touch with him.
So it was just
Yeah.
interesting to read his perspective on it because he's seen it from both ends and understands feeling like you're being looked at in a certain way
Mhm.
because of the color of your skin,
Mhm.
but also being the one in authority and knowing the difficulty of that situation.
Right.
So
It's hard.
definitely a hard thing. So yeah, so that was, if you're on our Facebook page, go look for that.
Yeah, definitely.
What else?
I just feel like everything is still, I'm still thinking about babies.
I'm not going to put names out there because I just don't want to do that, but we do have other friends who just had twins that are in the NICU, but the babies are doing well, and so we are praying for you guys.
Right.
If you're seeing this, I try not to mention names unless people are okay with it. So don't want to share other people's information, but
we know
be
there's a lot of
praying.
people.
Be praying. There's those twins that are in the NICU, and then our grandbaby twins
That'll
that'll probably end up in the NICU, just how early they are. But
Right.
that is the course of action for this age of baby. So, yeah, and just I always try to leave a challenge for the week. I try to challenge you people.
Okay, and before we get to the challenge, seriously, we're really happy, but we need your prayer. Just with everything that's been going on, it has been harder on me physically, which leads to more complications for her, getting less
That's
sleep
awesome.
and all kinds of things, and kids that are trying to get things accomplished, and we all want to have fun and do things together. And I know that when I'm not feeling well, I'm more easily irritated, and I do get hyperacuity, get super hypersensitive ears, so that even small noises can be very painful to me. So we have 7 children at home, so there's going to be noise, and they make noise. That's okay. That's nothing wrong with children making noise, but it does cause issues. So we're always trying to find ways to alleviate that. Whether I need to step away for a little while, and I've got some noise canceling headphones and things like that that might help a little bit. But the fact is, we have a lot of children, and we have grandbabies on the way, and we have health problems. And even though God is good and faithful and taking care of all these things, it's still difficult. He gives us grace to walk through the trials, but that doesn't mean they're easy. So we do appreciate everybody who has been praying for us and reaching out to us in messages and comments and sending cards and all kinds of wonderful things people have been doing. People are very kind. So we appreciate. We don't know why you guys watch us, actually. It's because she's awesome. I mean, I don't know why you watch these ones without I'm in them, but that's all I got to say for today.
Okay, so we'll do 2 challenges. So the first challenge, you talked right into that, but is make sure you're making a priority of your marriage, even with the craziness of life going on right now, and maybe craziness of health issues and stuff in your marriage. Making sure that you're giving each other time, talking about what's not working in your talking. That's been a lot of our conversations recently because of Mark's brain and trying to figure out ways to make sure that I'm communicating what I need to him and he's able to communicate what he needs to me. But doing it not in the midst of tension. So trying to figure that out. The hard thing with Mark, though, I'm not telling anything you don't know. The hard thing with Mark is he forgets something immediately upon it happening. So I have to bring it up later in the day. Like, do you remember earlier when this happened? No, I don't. So then I have to explain the situation again, and then we do it. But
even if you tell me about it later and you describe the details or show me a picture, I still don't remember it.
But we try to not have our disagreements. I mean, we don't really have big arguments, but we try not to have our disagreements in front of the children on a regular basis.
Right.
So trying to find a time. Sometimes you have to say something in front of the kids, like, hey, I know you told the kids they could climb on the roof, but I think they're about to fall off. Yeah, that's something you should say in front of the kids. But if it's, you let them go in the pool earlier and I wasn't going to let them go until after supper because it would have made it easier in this way, talk about that outside of the kids. And not that you never discuss things in front of the children, because it's good to see you discuss things in a good, healthy way. But if your kids feel that most of your discussions are where you disagree with each other and they're not seeing a good, loving relationship in front of them, they can worry that things aren't okay.
And kids will assume the worst, I think. If kids see mom and dad all lovey and huggy and all friendly and wonderful all day, every day, and they have a 5-minute argument once, the kids are going to think my parents are getting divorced. They hate each other. The world's falling apart.
My dad passed away a few years ago, but my parents had a healthy marriage to the point of him dying.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that sounded weird.
That did sound weird.
They had a healthy marriage,
Right.
and he passed away.
Right.
When I was a kid, anytime they would have a disagreement, my mom would cry, which is very much what I do. I cry very easily, especially hormonal, when you're pregnant, those types of things. It comes very naturally to me. I used to think that every time my mom cried, my parents were getting a divorce. Even though there was nothing that should have said that to me, that's how I felt. So making sure that you're showing love and affection to each other also in front of the children.
Right.
And also making sure that they know, even if they do see the disagreement, that everything's okay in the end. So, second challenge. This is a very weird time in our world with everything going on. We had one of our kids yesterday very, very upset with this new normal and that he doesn't like it. And I don't like that term new normal. It's been, I mean, it was even said in our online church service thing last week, the new normal. And
I refuse to accept the new normal.
we don't like the new normal, but it is what it is. And making sure that your kids are still getting fun experiences, that you're not living in this anxiety and frustration and everything that's going on in the world, that you're still seeing God's beauty, you're still seeing God's goodness, you know, that's still all very present. But sometimes we don't vocalize that. So when we're praying for our country, pray for the good things you're seeing too. Like, don't just pray for this bad thing. Like today, we have the grandbabies coming. We're praying for their safety, as we know that being born at 34 weeks, 4 days is not optimal. We're praying for their safety, but we're also just praying that God is good in bringing these lives about. And, you know, the things they've learned already through this experience of pregnancy and everything is a blessing to them.
Right.
And so making sure you don't just focus on the bad, but you focus on the good too.
Right.
Making sure your children hear the focusing on the good. Again, we want to bring them up knowing what the real world is going to be like, and they need to know about things around us. But the best way to do that is to show them about the world around them through the Bible. And like reading through the Old Testament right now, we see many times where God says, so here's what you're going to do. And if they do it God's way, things go smoothly for them. Even if, like the one part we just read about, you're going to walk through this person's land and you're going to have to pay them for food and you're going to have to pay them for drinks. But God took them through that and gave them exactly what they needed. But then there were other times they're like, hey, so why are we losing this? Well, because God told you not to go do that.
Right.
So,
so what was the challenge part of that? Sorry, I forgot. Oh yeah.
Pointing out the positive to the kids.
Positive.
And making sure you put an emphasis on your marriage. Those are my 2 challenges this week.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hoping there's people still with us because I haven't seen anyone write for a little bit, which is fine, but I know we've lost contact with things in the past. So I think that's all. I don't have any baby news to give anybody.
But if we get any baby news, be sure to look
as soon as I'm allowed to post it, I will.
Right.
But
yeah, let us know, and we will look on our I'll look on Sarah's Facebook page. Look under Sarah Copperthwaite. We'll probably post it on Herding Little Cows, but we may not. We've had this whole discussion multiple times about, we have the Herding Little Cows YouTube channel. We have a Facebook page. We have a Patreon account, which we're having some issues with. We have an Instagram page and those kind of things. We don't want to multiply our efforts or waste our time, but we do want to connect with people and encourage them. So if you have any thoughts about how to do that well, or things that we're not doing well, please let us know. We want to reach people, but we want to be wise.
Yeah.
Because we do have very limited time, and today we carved out some time to make this happen. But some days, like I almost called this off. Actually, I was just thinking, you know, with everything going on, we probably don't need to do.
We thought there might have been a trip necessary to the big hospital, taking our son there, but because they did the babies here, we're not sure what's going on. So we were able to do this.
Right. So I think we're good for today. I think that's all we're going to say because we want to go hang out with our kids. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's been chaos. I mean, we've been together all day. Virginia and I went and did this trip, but I think they're all excited about what's going on. They all want to know what's going on and anxious. And they want to see the babies and they want to make sure Eliza's okay and they want to talk to Nathaniel and everybody's excited about a lot. So we're going to shut this thing off and go hang out with them instead.
Sorry, we like you guys, but we like them better.
That's right. So we will see you guys next Saturday here at 2:00 is our game plan.
That is the plan.
And look at things throughout the week. We are always posting videos of different things. Last night I posted a video of her reading a real cool book on prayer with the kids. It's a kid's book about prayer, whatever child needs to know about prayer, maybe.
Something like that. Nancy
like that.
Guthrie.
Yep.
And it had a review by Alistair Begg.
Mm.
I've heard him.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize a lot of the other names, but
So yeah, so we're always posting content. Some of it's about grocery hauls, some of it's about other stuff, but that's what we're doing. And if you don't hear from us, it's probably because we're really busy. So if you want to reach out to us, connect, let us know you're praying. That's always appreciated. And until then, we will see you guys next Saturday.
bye.
Bye.